Hi, I'm Ken German, section editor for CNET.com. Today we're going to take a first look at Apple's newest iPhone, the iPhone 4S. This is the first iPhone that will be available to 3 carriers. Sprint is joining the Apple family here in the US, and we finally get a 64 gig model. And all versions will be available in either black or white from the start, so we don't have to wait around for that white phone like we did last year. Today I'm going to look at the Sprint phone. Now, for the most part, all of the versions are exactly the same. Now, there are a few differences Verizon and Sprint have. They do have a dual-band CDMA and GSM support. It is a good thing, though, to see that world roaming because the original Verizon iPhone did not have that. For the design, the iPhone 4S is exactly the same as the iPhone 4. The only differences you'd see is that the CDMA versions don't have a line where the GSM does in the antenna, but that's really it. One thing I would like to see in the design at some point is a bigger screen. It's 3.5 inches. That hasn't grown since the iPhone came out in 2007. We see a lot of phones now that are 4.5. I think 4.5 might be a little too big. But you do notice a difference if you have a larger phone and then you switch back to this one. The antenna is exactly the same, but Apple did say that there are now 2 antennas for the cellular calls, and the phone will switch back and forth. On the screen, you'll see most of the same icons. There's some new icons from iOS 5, of course. But the iPhone 4S does bring a few changes. The first is Siri. Siri is a voice assistant program. Now, the iPhone has always had voice commands and dialing, but Siri goes a whole step further by also delivering all sorts of information. So you can ask it to do things, and you can ask it to deliver information. What is the date today?
It's Thursday, October 13th, 2011.
Is Brian Tong the coolest person ever?
Kent, I don't understand. Is Brian Tong the coolest person ever?
It's pretty cool. It's still in beta format. And there you go. That's Siri. On the camera side, we finally get a bump up to 8 megapixels, which is nice. Of course, the iPhone 4 was 5 megapixels. The iPhone 4S also adds a sensor, which allows more light. The camera is supposed to be 32 times faster when you take photos. It also can record 1080 HD video clips at 30 frames per second. Things you need to know specifically about the Sprint model is Sprint is the only carrier right now that's going to be offering unlimited data for its iPhone. That's a big deal. Sprint says it's going to keep this for a while. We really hope it does, because that really is a nice leg up for Sprint. Now, as far as connectivity goes, we don't have 4G. I think Apple's going to wait. They're going to come out maybe on the next iPhone, but they really want those 4G networks to be everywhere, and they want the technology to be really good before they add it in their phone. So not quite surprising that we have to wait on that one. Of course, the iPhone 4S does have all the benefits of iOS 5. Just mention a couple: new notifications, the PC-free activation and update system, reminders, better Twitter enhancements, iMessage, and some great camera editing features. Another big addition to the iPhone 4S is that A5 processor. It is a dual-core 1 gigahertz processor along with a dual-core GPU, so it's twice as fast. It will offer graphics and performance that is 7 times faster than the iPhone 4s. So I've used it just briefly, and I can say I really see a difference. Of course, if you're a Sprint customer and been wanting the iPhone for years, certainly now is the time to buy. I like what I see here. I like the enhancements, and over 1 million people have bought this phone already, so they certainly like it too. I'm Ken German, and this has been a first look at the Sprint version of the iPhone 4S.
Hey folks, Brian Cooley from CNET.com. Now, when we check the performance of a piece of tech, we check the performance of a piece of tech. If you love videos of cars and all their high-tech and high-performance glory, check out the CNET Car Tech video podcast, cnet.com/CarTechTV.